So let's go finally to have a quick look at cable and see if, looking at a profile, we can actually explain a bit of this move and whether we've got too much further to go. So this is what we've had recently looking at candlesticks. We've had this very weak move from the beginning of the year, which you always felt would turn at some point. It turned. We hit the 50% of this move at 46.74 and then dropped lower once again through what's kind of looking like a flag. Now we've tested back to it. We've held the test back. It pushed through a little bit, so it's not the cleanest test back and hold, but we have done it. And we're now coming off. Key area now is going to be these 140.79s down to 140.43, this little high. If we can get through there, then you've got scope to start moving lower. And once again, you are going to be looking right the way down to, let's take us all the way back to 2009. And there we go, 2009 lows, 32.44 is where you could be looking. Watch out for these 34.05s on the way. But that will be sort of the bigger target if we do start moving any lower. So that's what we got on the candlesticks. We're going to have a quick look at the profile. And we'll start us off with a weekly profile. Now, we've had this strong move down at the beginning of this week. And this seems quite sensible. We've had the move up. We tested these single prints. Beginning of the week, we tested up to this. And this move up last week was really dragged by the euro move on the ECB. We filled this close and immediately we came straight off. Now you've got a very well traded area here. You can see all the volumes accumulated, and that's why we've got this very quick drop through. You've got very little volume on the move down, and that seems quite sensible. There's no real reason for the market to spend a great deal of time in this area. We're now balancing lower. Now we've already had a pretty decent sized move this week. It makes me think that for the rest of the week, barring the Fed doing something pretty spectacular tonight, I would be expecting cable to just balance out just in this area down here. This is where you got this slight dip of volume. If you sort of run a line between sort of 141.79 area, really right away down to 140.73, which coincides with that 140.79 low, which comes in just over there. That I think should hold us at least for the next few days. Hold us down here. I'd look for a bit of rotation. If we can get value to remain down here for this week, then we've got scope to move lower. If we move lower, then as you can see, once again, we've got this very big dip of volume between 40.73s and then down to this double VPOC at 39.34. Get below here, I'd be looking for this to move down quite quickly and then bounce and spend a bit of time just rotating in this area, getting some volume filled in, and it will just all fill over here before we can move any further. Now in terms of limits on the upside, areas that you want to be looking to sell, I'm looking at these 142.22 area. It's VPOC from last week. It's the single prints this week, which may well get filled up. You've also got this other low over here at 42.33s. So you got a couple of reasons for this area to hold. It does seem to be, it's also where the volume really kicks in from last week as well. So we don't need to spend time up here. Could be that we test it and then move back lower. So I'd be looking at this for a cut off for this week for the highs. To the lows, really I'm looking at 140.73. If we start spending a bit of time below, then we've got the scope to move a fair bit lower. We do start getting back above this 42.22 to 35 area, then we can of course start moving quite quickly back up towards the top of these single prints, which is also this week's value area high. So let's have a quick look on the dailies. Give you a little bit more perspective. And this is the only thing that again makes me feel we do need a little bit of a test higher, I should say. The reason being, you had this inside day, that filled volume in nicely. We then broke away from it. That's fine, all makes quite a lot of sense. You break the inside day, you then take the low of the larger day, and then look for a continuation. We got the continuation through the high volume, hence the low volume move now. But then what you got yesterday is this very strong accumulation right at the lows. What this is showing you is that there's a lot of people very committed right at the low. And so it's not going to take a great deal of movement higher for a lot of people to start getting out and feeling that there's very little to actually, you know, hold the market lower. So you could see quite a quick rush out if we start getting back above this value area, and that's going to take us up to this those single prints once again. It's also the midpoint of yesterday as well, so it's a pretty key area. But do be aware that if we start getting much higher than this, then all of this committed value down here is, you know, looking a bit vulnerable, and we could see a move back up towards these 42.53s and ultimately back to these single prints. To the downside though, we are accumulating value lower once again today, so that's keeping the bearish sort of outlook, and that's what you got to remember. Until it changes, there's no point in really thinking about this sort of rush up, catch people out trade, because it's not showing you a possibility of trading it. And so for the time being, we are building value lower. We start getting much of a move lower, there's not a great deal. Like I say, the objective would be to get down towards this 39, 34 area, and on the way down there really isn't much on the daily profiles. You've got this sort of little low down here at 140.34, which coincides with this 140.43 high. You can see this off a candlestick chart though. One area I would look at is 139.90, so you've got value area low. You've also got this high over here, which comes in at 96s. So you've got sort of 5 ticks. You've also got a little peak of volume, but really this profile looks very poor, and it should get traded right the way through if we start moving into it. Any lower than that, you've got your sort of last chance, 38.76 VPOC, old low. Beyond there, you're looking for a continuation lower, and as I say, down towards those 34.05s for the cable. So I'll leave you with that for today. I'm looking for more balance, at least until the Fed. After that, if it can't progress us either through 40.75 or above 42.22, I'd be expecting a continuation of this balance for the rest of the week for cable.